Judy Tossell, I think, walked into my London agent's office and said, "I don't suppose Peter Chelsom would ever read this, would he?" And I did, and I liked it immediately. I saw potential. I'm always drawn to stories that are fables and tales more than stories. I think it's great when there's a resonance and a point. It had great things to say about our lives, great things to say about happiness. It had a love story in there. It went to Africa, to China, to Los Angeles, to London, and it was unlike anything I'd ever done before. The moment I heard it, nobody has a childlike curiosity like Simon. And when you have a lead in a film like this, it's a bit like going back a long way. Peter Sellers in Being There, or Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump. You have a kind of innocent character, naive character, albeit he's a psychiatrist. And I can't think of anyone better than Simon for that. I'm amazed by his range, though. I'm endlessly kind of impressed and surprised pleasantly by how big his range is. We've got great casting. We have Simon Pegg, Jean Reno, Christopher Plummer, Stellan Skarsgård, Rosamund Pike, and they're all archetypes, if you like, in the story, in this fable. They're not there for a huge amount of time, but they have a very strong presence when they are. So it's a rich journey. I love it when I'm asked to write or rewrite something or adapt a novel for a film that I'm ultimately going to direct. I feel the directing job is a very different job when I'm directing stuff I've written or co-written. That was number one, appeal, but it was a great story. And it was my kind of film, because I always try to create a world unto itself when I make a movie, and I really thought I could do it with this. It reminded me of Forrest Gump, it reminded me of Being There. It's a love story, it's a comedy, it's very much a comedy with Simon Pegg in it. I mean, thank heavens for that casting, because he's perfect. And I have to watch myself because he's so funny. I have to exercise restraint. I can tune him and get bigger laughs, but I have to remember we need some serious and deeper moments in there as well. But he makes me laugh all day, so that's fun. Hector is a psychiatrist who has a seemingly perfect life. It's incredibly ordered and it has ritual to it. It's order, and they live in an apartment that's slick and beautiful. But there's something very wrong, and there's a restlessness about him that he comes to learn in the first act of the movie. He's also a man who's really terrified of his own emotions. He's also a man who has patience, is losing his patience for his patients, if you like. And he has a kind of crisis. He's at a crossroads in his relationship. He doesn't know whether to move forwards or commit to that. There's the issue of, do they have a baby together? Do they get married together? And he has a real crisis where he says, I feel like a fraud. I feel like an armchair traveler offering worldly advice. He hasn't lived his life enough. And that comes to lots of people at various times in their life. And in the case of our Hector, it's around the age of 40. He wants to do that world trip that he never did. And off he goes with the blessing of his girlfriend, who's acknowledged that it's something he needs to do, and he makes a world trip. I honestly think, because of the journey they've been on and the conclusion the film comes to, it's really designed to be a very uplifting ending. It kind of says, look at your lives. It's here, right now. It's up to you. Happiness is a choice,